Hello guys, welcome back to Java sessions. Today we are going to cover what is class, object, example for class and object, then followed by constructor, types of constructor, and then if time permits we will go with the polymorphism and types of polymorphism, right? This is the content what we are going to cover today. Now, sir, what is this class means? But a class is a collection of objects of similar type, or you can call it as a template or blueprint, right? So class, simply it's a logical entity which doesn't exist in the real world, right? So here I'm taking the fruit is a class, mango is a object. So object is nothing but the instance of the class. Instance means a result is nothing but the instance. So a result of the class that can be called as a object. So any entity which has state and behavior, that is known as a object. So here, for example, if you are taking the pen, so pen is a object, right? The name Reynolds, that is the identity. The color white, it's a state, and the behavior which is used to the functionality. Behavior is nothing but functionality which is used to write. So this is how we can define the object. Right. Now I'm moving. Sir, how to create a class, how to create a object means, but a class can be created by using the class keyword space class name, whatever the class you want to create. Let's say I want to create ABC class, then open, close. This is a very simple way to create the class. Sir, what class contains? But a class contains the data members and member functions. Data members are nothing but the variables. That may be static variable or instance variable or local variable. And member functions are nothing but the methods which are used to perform the actions. So these variables can be allowed from 1 to n, and methods can be anything. You may have n number of methods. Here you can see this is a simple syntax of the class name, and type of the instance variable from 1 to n, right? Then static variables, then type of methods with parameter. Parameterized methods are allowed, and non-parameterized methods are also allowed. Then you need to write the body of the method. This is the first method. This is the way you can take the n number of parameter, n number of methods within the class. This is a simple syntax for the class. Sir, then can we have a example? Of course, here, if you see, I'm creating a class. My class name is box. It has the different variables, width, height, depth. These are all class variables. You can also, these are all the instance variables. Now, sir, how to create object to this class? You can create in different ways, beta. You can see here. So this is a representing the object in the first way. My box equal to new box, right? Or box my box equal to no box. This is the second way. And the third way is box B1 equal to new box, and you can assign box B2 equal to B1. These are all the three different ways to create the object. So all of them are same. There is no difference. So here, whenever you create object, what it will do, it holds a memory for the parameters or the attributes whichever are there in the class. Now I'm moving further. This is an example program along with the syntax. First, you need to import the package, whatever the package which you want to use. Then import the statements if you have anything. Then class name, instance variables, class or static variables, methods. If you have the local variables, we will initialize within the methods. Then we will create object. Without creating object, you cannot call the methods. That's what we need to create object. So that is going to allocate the memory. Then if you have any other statements, you need to write it, then close the method and then close the class. This is a simple syntax for the creation of a class. Now I'm importing the package, that is util package. There you have the scanner class which is used to read the data. I'm taking the uh, class name is demo n. Next, I'm taking a instance variable, static variable. Next, I'm taking the main method. Here, I'm taking the character type of variable A. Now, I'm creating object to this class. By using scanner class, I want to read the data, double type of data I want to read. So what I'm doing, I'm displaying the data by using that object dot I. That in the sense, the variable which you are taken, that I am displaying with the help of this object. And I'm displaying the D which you read it from the keyboard. then I'm displaying the character value C. So this is a way you can create the object and access the values of the variables by using the object. This is a simple example for the class and object. I'm moving further. So that is all about the class and object. Then, sir, what is this constructor? Beta constructor is a special type of method. So the purpose of this constructor is to initialize an object immediately upon the object creation. So whenever you create an object, what it will do, it is going to initialize the instance variables of a class. So this constructor gets executed automatically whenever we create object to the class. And this constructor is of two types: parameterized constructor and default constructor. Parameterized constructor means a constructor with parameters, that is called as a parameterized constructor. If a constructor in the program it doesn't have any parameters, then that is called as a default constructor. Sir, if I am not writing any constructor in the program, what will happen? JVM will provide the default constructor. This constructor will accept the parameters, that is parameterized constructor. Without parameters, then that is called as default constructor. But the condition is this constructor, what we are saying, it's a special type of method, means the class name and the constructor name, or the class name and the method name must be same, then only we call it as a constructor. Otherwise, it's not a constructor. Now, sir, what is this default constructor? A constructor without parameters, that is called as a default constructor, or which do not accept no parameters at all, right? So here, if I am not defined any constructor in the program, then the compiler will provide you the default constructor. Default constructor is the constructor that can be created whenever you are creating object to the class. Now, here I am creating a class name is box. It has the three parameters: width, height, and depth. These are the three variables which are there in the class. So class variables, the variables which are declared within the class outside of the method, they are called as the instance variable. To initialize the instance variables, we can use a constructor. Now, I'm taking the constructor here. If you observe, my class name and the method name is same. That's what we can call it as a constructor. Whatever the instance variables are there, those instance variables I'm going to initialize within the constructors. This is the main motto of the constructor. So, sir, when the memory is going to be allocated, when this is going to be executed, means whenever you create object to this class, then the memory is going to be initialized. This is how we are going to use the default constructor. So here we have the example for the default constructor as well as parameterized constructor. I'm taking the class, that is a test class. Here I'm taking two instance variables. Now I'm taking a constructor. Here you can see this is a special type of method. Whenever the class name and method name is same, then that is called as a constructor. Constructor without parameters, that is called as a default constructor. So within this constructor, I'm taking a variable I equal to 10. Then I'm displaying the values. So here I'm displaying the value of C, I, and F. I'm closing the constructor, then I'm closing the class. Now, sir, when this constructor gets executed, better you need to create object. Sir, where to create object? Better you need to create object within the main method. So we are taking a class. Within that class, I'm taking the main method. Within the main method, now I am creating object to this test class. Whenever you create object, automatically the class default constructor gets executed. Then if you want to display, you can call the constructor demo.main. Otherwise, that gets this is a message just I'm displaying because whether this executed or not, just I want to confirm, that's what I'm displaying that message. This is all about the default constructor. Coming to the parameterized constructor, here constructor with parameters, then that is called as a parameterized constructor. If we have instance variables, to initialize the instance variables, we use the parameterized constructor. Now, what I'm doing here, I'm initializing x is equal to a, y is equal to b. That in the sense, whatever the value which you are passed to a and b, those a, b values you are assigning to x and y, right? Here the instance variables and the uh, parameters of the constructors are different. That's what you are not using the this keyword. For example, if there is a uh, instance variables and the parameterized constructor variables are same. Let's say assume here also you have the a and b, then you will write like this: a is equal to a and b is equal to b. Then you have a doubt, sir, how to differentiate, how to identify whether it is a class variable or the insta uh, constructor variable. Better to identify, to recognize, to differentiate the class variable with the constructor variable. We use a keyword, that is the this keyword, this dot a. So this is the keyword which represents the current class variables. This dot b. These are the a, the left hand side, which are attached with the this. They are the class variables. The rest are the method variables. This is how you can differentiate when the instance variables and the constructor variables are same. Then I'm displaying their values within this constructor. Now I'm closing this class. Then I'm taking one more class. There I'm taking the main method. Now I'm creating object to the class. So here, if you observe, we are calling the parameterized constructor. Test 10 comma 20, 10 will be copied in A, 20 will be copied in B. So whenever you are creating object to the class, that class constructor will be called and that gets executed automatically. This is all about the default constructor and the parameterized constructor along with the example program, guys. Now I'm moving further.